The grief from losing James was still raw, a knife that twisted every time I inhaled. Yet I kept going one careful step at a time. After he was gone, the world turned icy. Still, living under my in-laws' roof gave me an odd comfort, as if pieces of him still breathed inside those familiar walls. That fragile peace shattered the afternoon my sister-in-law cornered me. "Why are you still here?" she hissed, venom dripping from every word. "Who does a stranger think she is, camping out in our house?" A stranger. After 12 years. After every holiday, every birthday, every tear. Before I could answer, my mother-in-law, the same woman who once held me like her own daughter, looked at me with ice in her eyes and said, "I never thought you were this kind of person. Pack your things and leave. Soon." Something inside me snapped silently. My heart screamed, "Fine. I'll go. I don't need to be thrown out twice." But my voice stayed soft. "I understand," I whispered. Inside I made a vow. One day they would feel this pain back. My name is Gina. I'm 40, an elementary school teacher. And until a few weeks ago, the wife of James, my soulmate of 12 years, the kindest man I ever knew. We met when I was a nervous first-year teacher straight out of college. He was 2 years older, steady, patient, the calm in every storm. We married because we simply belonged together. I've always loved children, that's why I teach. We never had our own, but our life was quiet, happy enough. James had lived with his widowed mother long before I came along. She was comfortable from his late father's estate. Yet out of respect, James and I still sent her $2,000 every month for bills, food, and a little rent. We both worked hard and dreamed of one day opening a small learning center for anxious kids who struggled in regular classrooms. A safe place where no child felt left behind. We planned it over tea on quiet nights, sketching ideas on napkins. James's older sister, Mary, lived out of state with her husband Robert and their son Alex. Every single weekend she came to visit Mom, and every single weekend she left with cash. Tuition is short again. The furnace broke. Things are tight this month. Mom always opened her purse, treating her 40-something daughter like a teenager with an allowance. Even James got tired of it. "You received your share of Dad's money," he told her once. "Why are you always broke?" Mary shot back. "You don't have kids. You wouldn't understand." But even I could see the money vanished faster than it should. Then came the morning that ended everything. We kissed goodbye like always, headed to our separate schools. 2 hours later my phone rang. The voice on the other end made the floor disappear. James had collapsed. Ambulance. Hospital. Now. I ran every red light. When I got there he was already unconscious, tubes everywhere, machines screaming. I begged God for a miracle. That night the miracle never came. James was gone. The days after were a blur of black clothes and hollow condolences. I handled the funeral because someone had to. My mother-in-law greeted mourners with quiet grace. Robert and Alex helped carry the casket. Mary, not one tear. If anything, she looked relieved. It turned my stomach. When it was over and we walked back into the empty house, Mom took my hand, voice trembling. "Gina, I never knew losing a child could feel this lonely. Please stay with me. I can't be in this house alone." I was drowning too. I nodded through my tears. "Yes, Mom. We'll hold each other up." We weren't done grieving when fate struck again. 3 weeks later she suffered a massive stroke. She survived, but her right side stayed weak. She needed a cane and constant care. She refused to leave the house. "Too many memories of James," she said, speech slightly slurred. I arranged professional caregivers through her long-term care insurance and kept sending the $2,000 every month. Now it truly kept the lights on and the help paid. That's when Mary started showing up even more, all fake concern and sweet smiles. One afternoon Mom said hesitantly, "Mary wants to move in to take care of me. What do you think?" My stomach dropped. "If that's what you want," I forced out. "Of course I'll support it." But inside I knew. If Mary moved in, I would become the outsider. I had to leave for a mandatory week-long teacher training. Before I left I begged Mom, "Follow the caregiver's instructions. Don't give Mary extra money. If anything feels off, call Robert." I worried the entire week. When I walked back through the door, Mary greeted me with a triumphant smirk. "Welcome home. Mom needs to speak with you. Now." I stepped into the living room. My mother-in-law's eyes were cold fire. "Gina, How could you plan to ship me off to a nursing home the minute I became inconvenient? I couldn't breathe. Mary jumped in, voice dripping pity. I heard you say it yourself, she's too much trouble now. Mom believed every lie. You're nothing but a burden, she said. Get out of my house today. I stood frozen while the two people I'd cared for most in the world turned on me. No fight left in me, I whispered. I understand. I packed one suitcase, left every photo of James, every gift we'd ever given, and walked out with my head high and my heart in pieces. Mary practically shoved me out the door. Don't come crawling back. I drove to my parents' house in silence. When Mom opened the door and saw the luggage, she pulled me into her arms. I could only manage. Not yet, please, not yet. I locked myself in my childhood bedroom, set the suitcase down, and stared at the ceiling, until I remembered the thick envelope James had pressed into my hand the morning he died. The one his mother had interrupted before he could explain. Tomorrow, I decided. Tomorrow I would open it. And whatever was inside, Mary and her lies were about to meet the truth James never got to tell. When we stepped back into my mother-in-law's quiet house after the funeral, she held my hand and whispered, Gina, I didn't know emptiness could hurt this much. Please stay with me. I can't face these rooms alone. Her voice cracked, and for the first time since James died, I let myself cry. Yes, Mom, I said, wiping my tears. We'll carry this together. But life wasn't done breaking us. 3 weeks later she collapsed, stroke. She survived, but her right arm and leg stayed weak. She leaned on a cane and refused to leave the house. Too many memories of my boy here, she murmured. I'm staying. I didn't feel safe leaving her by herself, so I organized full-time caregivers through her insurance. Even after James was gone, I kept wiring the same $2,000 every month. Now it paid the caregivers, the bills, everything. That's when Mary started coming around more, all honey-sweet concern. One evening Mom said nervously, Mary wants to move in to help take care of me. What do you think? My stomach nodded. If it makes you happy, I answered, forcing a smile. Of course I'll support it. But inside I knew, once Mary moved in, I would be the outsider that I had to leave town for a week-long teacher training. Before I left I begged Mom, stick to the caregiver's schedule. Don't give Mary cash. If anything feels wrong, call Robert. I spent the whole week anxious. The moment I walked back in, Mary was waiting with a smug little smile. Welcome home. Mom wants to see you. Now. I stepped into the living room. My mother-in-law's eyes were pure ice. Gina, how could you plan to dump me in a nursing home the second I became a burden? I couldn't speak. Mary jumped in, fake tears ready. I heard you say it yourself, she's too much trouble now. Mom believed every word. You're nothing but a stranger taking advantage, she spat. Pack your bags and get out of my house today. The woman who had begged me to stay now wanted me gone. I didn't argue. I understand, I whispered. I packed one suitcase, left every photo of James, every gift we'd ever bought her, and walked out with my head high. Mary practically slammed the door behind me. Good riddance. I drove straight to my parents' house. When Mom opened the door and saw the luggage, her face fell. What happened, baby? Not yet, I choked out. I just can't talk yet. I dragged the suitcase to my old bedroom, shut the door, and sat on the bed. That's when I remembered the thick envelope James had tried to give me the morning he died. The one his mother interrupted. Tomorrow, I told myself. Tomorrow I open it. And whatever is inside. Mary's victory party is about to be very short-lived. I'll commute to work from here, Mom. Please just give me some space for now. I dragged my suitcase into my old childhood room at my parents' house, set it down and stared at the ceiling, letting the silence swallow me. Mary had won. She was probably celebrating in the house I'd kept running for years. But something kept nagging at me. The thick envelope James had tried to hand me the morning he collapsed. The one his mother interrupted before he could explain that. I sat up, pulled it from my bag with shaking fingers, and opened it. Inside were bank statements, receipts, and a full private investigator report, complete with photos of Mary at nightclubs, hotel keycards, shopping bags, and men who definitely weren't Robert. James had known everything. He had been gathering proof to protect his mother from his own sister. He never got the chance to show me. The next day I went to school, smiled at colleagues, handed in my training report, and acted like my world hadn't just burned down. But the second the bell rang, I rushed home. I needed to talk to Robert, and I didn't want anyone overhearing on the way I emailed him. Can we meet in person? I have something urgent about Mary. His reply came instantly. I was about to contact you. Name the place. I locked myself in my room and called, Gina, thank God. He answered on the first ring, voice tight. I've been trying to reach Mary for days. Something's very wrong. I told him everything. How Mary had lied, turned Mom against me, and thrown me out. Robert was stunned. She's living there now? Alone with Mom? Yes. And she's already screaming about money missing from the account. Robert went quiet then. She's been taking cash from Mom for years and telling me nothing. I've been paying Alex's full tuition myself while she claimed she needed help. Gina, can you meet me Sunday at Mom's house? I'm coming. Perfect, I said. I'll be there. Saturday night my phone rang. Mary's name on the screen. I picked up. You took money from Mom's account without permission, she screamed. Give it back right now. I've never touched her savings, I said calmly. I've only ever deposited money, never withdrawn a cent. Then why is the balance almost zero? She shouted. That's a great question, Mary. See you tomorrow. We'll discuss it in front of Mom. Sunday morning Robert arrived at my parents' house early. My mom opened the door startled. It's Mary's husband, I explained quickly. We have something to sort out. 30 minutes later we pulled up to the house together. I rang the bell. It's Gina. I'm here as promised. Mary yanked the door open, ready to snarl, then saw Robert behind me and froze. Robert stepped forward, voice like steel. We're all going to sit down and have a little talk, Mary. Right now. The showdown was about to begin. And I had James's envelope burning a hole in my bag. Smiling face with horns. My mom finally remembered Robert. Oh yes. Mary's husband. I've seen him at the funeral. I gave her a quick nod. We have some family business to settle. I led Robert into the living room, closed the door, and slid James's envelope onto the coffee table. I need you to see this. I spread everything out. Grainy photos of Mary laughing in nightclubs, arms around men half her age, hotel receipts, bar tabs in the thousands, a full detective report stamped 3 weeks before James died. Robert's face went white, then red, then stone cold. She told me she was staying over to help Mom, while I worked double shifts to pay Alex's tuition. He looked up at me, eyes burning. Gina, ride with me. Right now. This ends today. 30 minutes later we stood on the porch of the house I'd been thrown out of days earlier. I rang the bell. It's Gina. I'm here as promised. Mary yanked the door open, ready to snarl, then saw Robert behind me and tried to slam it shut. Robert wedged his foot in and pushed it wide open. We're coming in, Mary. All of us are going to talk. She fought, but she was no match. The door stayed open. Mom sat in her armchair, confused, cane across her lap. Robert didn't waste time. He slapped the photos on the table in front of his wife. Who's the guy, Mary? And the one from last month? And the one from the hotel in Atlantic City? Mary's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Robert's voice stayed deadly calm. Your late brother hired an investigator because he knew you were bleeding your own mother dry. He died before he could stop you. I've been paying our son's college alone while you blew thousands on bottle service and boyfriends. He turned to Mom. Every dollar Gina and James sent you for bills? Mary took it. There's almost nothing left. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Robert looked at Mary one last time. I'm done. Divorce papers will be delivered tomorrow. You'll pay your half of Alex's tuition until he graduates, or the lawyer takes it from whatever's left of your inheritance, which isn't much, because you already spent it on nightlife. Mary collapsed into a chair. All color drained from her face. Robert didn't raise his voice again. He just walked out. 2 weeks later the divorce was final. Mary moved out the same day, bags in hand, no forwarding address. The caregiver told me she never even said goodbye to her mother. Mom was left in that big house with almost no savings, the mortgage falling behind, and only the monthly caregiver visits I still quietly paid for, because I couldn't let the woman who once called me daughter starve. One evening she called, voice small and trembling. Gina, I was wrong. I'm so sorry. Please come home. I listened to her cry for a long time. Then I said, I'll visit on Sundays to check on you, but I'm not moving back. That house stopped being my home the day you chose Mary's lies over 12 years of my love. I hung up, looked at the framed photo of James on my desk, and whispered, "Justice served, my love. Just like you planned." Some people only realize who is really holding everything together when the money disappears and the truth walks through the door with receipts. Smiling face with horns.